How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and this is my McLaren P1 that I've been rebuilding after it was destroyed in a hurricane.
But even with McLaren's help, parts for this car have been impossible to find and even harder to afford. So I decided that I wouldn't just rebuild it. I've had to rethink, redesign, and upgrade every single part of it, because even an extremely difficult build is better than an impossible one.
But what if you had everything you needed to put together a clean factory example? Would it then be possible to assemble a P1 at home? And I'm not talking about taking an already built car, then rebuilding it. No, what I want to know is if you had every part of a car, every nut, every bolt, the body, the chassis, the engine, could you make a bone stock, showroom quality, $2 million McLaren P1 hypercar from scratch? And if so, could you do it better and faster than the McLaren factory could?
This is the rarest and most expensive pile of car parts in the world. And today, we'll try to make history by assembling the most technologically complex McLaren ever made with only these parts and the tools in this garage.
And no safety net, because if we fail, then we're gonna have a 3,000-pound million dollar paperweight. And if that wasn't challenging enough, we only have 1 week to turn this bare tub into a McLaren P1 that can drive out of here under its own power. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most challenging build I've ever done.
A build this intense can't be done alone, and certainly not on my budget. So let me tell you about someone I'm very grateful to know, my friend Steve. Steve spent the last 30 years of his life working his butt off and saving up to buy his ultimate dream car, a McLaren P1. And 3 years ago, he bought this, a unique prototype example known as VP4, which was used by McLaren to develop the P1 platform that we know today. And included in VP4's purchase were some extremely rare parts, the kind that even the McLaren factory wouldn't know where to find right now. But the real reason he bought it was because one of his life's goals was to build a truly special car with his son Kenny, who had been getting his hands dirty on projects with his dad since he was a kid. With the parts they had, it looked like they only needed a few key elements to assemble the ultimate father-son project, a second homemade McLaren P1. But reality did hit pretty hard, because in order to buy everything they thought they needed to complete the project, including a brand new carbon fiber tub from McLaren, they spent 3 years and over $1 million, making it one of the most ambitious builds anyone has ever attempted. Now, the P1 is known for being insanely expensive, as prices right now are in the $2 million range. But unlike other McLarens that depreciate like an ice cream cone on a hot day, the P1's prices have been rock steady for the past few years, according to the new price trends tool on AutoTempest, a longtime supporter of my channel and a free platform that puts every major car listing site into one easy search. Not only can I track what the car market is doing currently with a bird's eye view of every major listing nationwide, but AutoTempest can tell me if a specific car's price has gone up or down over time with its price history tool. And it's just as useful to research your next daily driver as it is your dream car. You can also use words or phrases that narrow down your search to find the perfect car for you at the best possible price. So go ahead and click the link in my video description to check out AutoTempest, because it helps my channel do these crazy builds, and they're always developing new tools to make your car searching and car buying experience as painless as possible, which is the exact opposite of this car building experience. And we had to start building right away, because the P1 was scheduled to be displayed at SEMA, the biggest automotive trade show in the world, where hundreds of thousands of people would have the chance to look at the car up close. So Steve and Kenny assembled a wrenching dream team to take on the mother of all car projects. And to lead that team, they asked the one guy who had the most McLaren P1 wrenching experience on Earth. And when he wasn't available, they called me.
Freddie, you ready for your Full House intro?
My Full House intro?
Now, I know I said we had a mountain of P1 parts at our disposal, But to make sure we had all the odds and ends we'd need throughout the project, it made perfect sense to buy a parts car. But since P1 parts cars don't exist, we got this super cheap, stripped version of the first production car McLaren ever made, called the MP4-12C. And even though it was a few years older and about 100 times cheaper than a P1, it shared a lot of components with its big hypercar brother. And with the help of my good friend Ivan from Cannonball Garage, we started removing parts, all of which were in mint condition.
Oh
God.
Something was growing in it. What? Why don't we just take that outside?
I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, just
This is.
that's gross. Ugh.
God.
Ugh. I just got a whiff of that. That's windshield washer fluid, and somebody definitely did not put windshield washer fluid in there. There was bacteria growing in there. I mean, just look at that. That is it smells like, well, just be glad you're not smelling this.
The first major parts we needed from our donor McLaren were on the front end of the car, starting with the brake master cylinder and brake booster. These parts attach to the brake pedal and help push hydraulic fluid through the lines to each wheel. Without these, our P1 wouldn't be able to stop. Now on most cars, you can remove these pretty quick if you know the order of parts to be removed. But we took more of a learn-on-the-job sort of approach.
All right, brake booster we need to take out because the P1 doesn't have one. But in order to get this out, you can see it's fouling on the HVAC, so that needs to come out. But for that to come out, we have to separate the two, and we have to take out the AC refrigerant, which we're waiting on an AC machine. So off to a good start. So there are tons of cost-cutting measures that McLaren made when they made the P1 because they had to make thousands of cars after it, and this is just one of them. We are going to take the HVAC out, and hopefully I don't break it in the process, and then I'm gonna put it on the P1 because the heating, ventilation, air conditioning system is exactly the same as in the 12C, 650S, and I think every other McLaren ever made.
The blower box is arranged in two connecting halves, one half on the outside of the car and one on the inside. It's held together with 4 small M6 bolts, followed by a couple of aluminum AC lines and a handful of electrical connectors. The hardest part is usually removing the car's dashboard, but because this car was already stripped, we took the easy win and removed the first crucial part of the donor car, followed by the second.
Yes, part 2.
Yeah.
We're somewhere between 0 and 2% of being able to finish this project.
Wonderful.
now.
Okay. So don't put that on the car because you're going to realize it doesn't fit.
Oh yeah.
All joking aside, the brake booster, while it did physically fit the P1 tub, wasn't an original P1 part. So Ivan and I spent some time prepping and test fitting everything on the new tub to make sure we weren't giving ourselves an annoying problem later in the build. And at this point, I'd say things were moving very quickly.
All right, guys, we're 5.5 hours in, and I've got the brake pedal assembled and in the car.
So right now we had to take out the HVAC basically 7 or 8 times just to see what the routing was. There's a lot of 2 steps forward, 1 step back right now. There are hydraulic hoses, there's windshield wiper assembly, there's harness, and we haven't even gotten the hydraulic hoses underneath the car yet because we have to do that, we have to do the accumulators, the pumps, the ABS system, all the brake lines, and then put the actual subframe in. And only then can we put the suspension and then all the other electronics. It's a very complicated process, but I think we're getting our first baby steps done. Also the AC, we have to put the air conditioning stuff in, so.
Brake booster.
You need brakes?
Cylinder.
Yeah. Listen, it's not that much. It's not that much stuff. It's a lot of stuff.
We then got all hands on deck to remove the donor 12C's front subframe, which is an incredibly strong piece of aluminium, that mounts to the front suspension, houses the 12-volt battery and hydraulic systems, acts as an electrical ground, and is a main part of the car's front crash structure. It's also attached with about a dozen bolts, some of which are so annoying to remove that it may spark a debate about which tools are best to use.
So on this build, we've had Snap-on and then Harbor Freight, the two genders. You guys talk about the Snap-on guy like it's like he's a good person. He's not. He's not.
He's our Santa.
He's a drug dealer. He's a drug dealer. He just comes around and is like, hey, I got some ratchets for you.
There we go. Got it.
Oh, Benny. Okay.
All right. Yes.
Look at that.
Easy it would have been to get those.
All right, let's put it back in and do it for real this time.
Now we're done. All right, thank you guys for watching for the week-long P1 build. It's your boy. We're done. That was it.
We managed to strip down the 12C quite a bit, and the usable P1 parts list was growing bigger by the minute. But in order to make sure we weren't caught with our pants down in the 11th hour, I arranged a special delivery.
Somebody ordered some P1 parts?
Well, yeah, we did, dude. How are you?
Good.
How was the journey?
It was fun. You still alive?
Do you know this guy?
A little bit.
Thanks so much, dude.
No problem.
Okay, well,
That was a fun drive.
so Rex is here. Turns out when you put together a P1 made only out of spare parts, you need a lot of spare parts. So I brought like 75% of my car, and we're just gonna see what we need so we can finish this project on time. And Rex is literally the lifesaver here.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you absolutely are, because you got a U-Haul. We rented that U-Haul, and he has his Toyota Tacoma, which is really dope. So we're gonna take out all my parts, which are filled with sand, by the way. They have not been touched since the flood. So this is gonna be an interesting exercise in cleaning parts.
Oh, there's
Hold on.
Oh, there we go. All right. So this is
it.
This is it. So everything else was taken off the night before I got here at 1 in the morning. I got shields and all the panels and stuff. There's going to be a lot of 3D printing that we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. We'll get around to that.
You'll get around to that. I don't know anything about 3D printing.
I shouldn't say that. I'm like we, the collective we on that regard.
I can barely print in 2 dimensions.
Okay.
I can't print in 3 dimensions.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah.
This stuff looks great. Is that a
should-
gold heat shield?
It is. That is my gift to you.
Brother.
That is my gift to you.
Thank you. I appreciate
It's
that.
not actual gold.
It does smell a little.
It smells
beach.
very bad. It smells like beach and hydraulic fluid. Let's move this out over here, and then we can clean it and probably make a lot of stains on your driveway.
We just took all the British DNA of this car and injected Colorado and Florida into it, so now it's this weird concoction of like, oh, and then British, and then
I think Florida injected itself into my parts.
Yeah, maybe that too. Yeah, a little love from Florida.
Now, these parts are quite rare and hard to find, so I wanted to make sure that these guys got all the help they could get. What we're gonna do now is put the parts in a pile of, we're gonna clean them, and some we're gonna 3D scan and 3D print because we can't find them. They don't make them anymore. This is gonna be a lot of dirty work. This is gonna be the world's most annoying jigsaw puzzle.
You got Ivan.
Yeah.
Ivan is here.
No, notice Ivan just left.
Right? He left and walked
Notice
away.
he's no longer here.
Now, while it does look like I turned my McLaren P1 into a parts car, that can't be any further from the truth. One of the reasons I took on this build was to learn how to put a stock P1 together, but more importantly, I want to know what parts I can redesign or eliminate, and that means scanning virtually every part of the car. And it just so happens, Kenny was the perfect man for the job.
All right, guys, so on this end of the setup, we have 2 completely different entities. We're gonna be building the car over here, but this is Nerd Central Station. So what we have here is a giant 3D printer, and it's running carbon fiber infused plastic. So what that means is we can make literally any part that we're missing. If it's kind of broken, kind of whatever it is. I mean, we're ripping a lot of stuff from that 12C, and we're gonna kind of scan, recondition things, and make final prototypes over here. And then with that, we've got our custom CNC machine. This means anything out of aluminum we can build and we can cut. So we're gonna run all of this through my tech computer setup over here. We've got extra 3D printers as well, and we're gonna build as many as we can.
And here's what it actually looks like. This hole on the intake manifold of the engine needs to be plugged because it goes to a factory plastic diaphragm that can leak air over time and make the engine run like a warmed over dog turd. The first step is scanning the part, and all we need are the dimensions of the 3-bolt flange here. Once a clean scan is done and the measurements are checked, the file can be sent to the desktop mill, and it uses various abrasive bits to cut the pattern we need out of a piece of solid aluminum. Sorry, aluminium.
So we just finished up our CNC machine. Actually, this was our first little milled bit. I think that turned out pretty good, actually. So let's go check it out on the engine. I got the bolts here, so let's mount it and make sure our fitments were right. If this was the first time that we did this and it turned out this well, I'm gonna be a happy camper. So we're gonna stick this little guy on here, and it seems to me, hold on, am I holding it backwards? Yes, I'm holding it backwards. Seems to me that lines up pretty darn good. So I just say we bolt it in. The hope is that kind of as we go along, more and more pieces are gonna be easily fabricated like this. Got a lot of moving parts going on today, but something this simple turned out quite nice for us actually, and I think that looks pretty good. So I think we're ready to move on to our next bit.
Okay, so I know not everyone is gonna have a CNC mill, a 3D printer, a scanner, all that stuff. But if you're still doing a custom project, you might need some custom parts. Now, I'll give an example. This is a part from a P1. This is really, really flimsy. It's corroded, and this goes right here. This is actually where the air intake sits and how it mounts to the car. Now, McLaren would charge me quite a bit of money for something like this, but I wanted to remake it out of aluminium, and I remade it using Oshcut. And all I did was take the measurements of this and then upload it to their website, and in about a few days, they got me a really, really good fitting part. Now, I haven't put any of the mounting holes here because I want to do a custom intake setup for my car, but you can tell right here, boom, that is perfect. That fits right away. And these little tabs, they actually get bent up because that's how the wiring harness gets routed. These are super reasonable to buy. They are an awesome, awesome service.
And they also do powder coating, finishing, and have a ton of materials to choose from. So whatever custom metal cutting your project needs, Oshcut has it covered. You can go to oshcut.com and check it out for yourself. So let me introduce you to one of the reasons why the McLaren P1 is one of the most complicated cars ever made. These hoses, lines, and harnesses run all over the car, and they carry oil, coolant, vacuum, and hydraulic fluid at high pressures and temperatures. It's what makes the car handle as well as it does, but if anything is out of place, it could spell absolute disaster for this build. So it was my job to make sure that the routing of every line was 100% spot on, and McLaren wasn't making it any easier.
All right, situation update. I am the only person left here in the shop, except for Rex.
Hey guys.
Hi.
He made me drive 27 hours.
Rex said he drove 27 hours. I didn't make him do any of that. I am putting together the hydraulic lines because I just took those off of my P1 to help this project. Now, I'm not parting out my P1 or anything. I just wanted to help them out because I think with the hydraulic lines, I could probably simplify a lot of this because just look at it. That's, wow. One thing that I noticed was this. So when you put the hydraulic lines in the P1, you have to go through this channel, and the hydraulic lines kind of ride on these rubber mounts, and they go like up here and to the rest of the car. These rubber mounts are very crucial because they dictate where the lines go. Unfortunately, from the factory, this is a brand new tub. This has never been used in a car before. This is a mistake. So this mount is supposed to be over here. That mount is supposed to be over here. The way I know this is because we tried to fit these lines and they don't fit on this. And if you're eagle-eyed like I am, the mounts here, they're different diameters. The mounts here do not match with the mounts. Oh, look at that. Now we got an air compressor going. We haven't even used any air. The mounts here don't match with that, but the mounts here do match with that. And the same goes for those mounts. So I have to do a little switcheroo. These are just glued to the body, and we're going to use a heat gun, take this glue off, and then we're just going to glue these back on in the right spots and fix McLaren's mistake at midnight after we've been working for 16 hours.
Now, while I wasn't thrilled about having to fix a mistake made at the McLaren factory, I can certainly understand how it happened. The P1 has been out of production for a decade, and it would be easy for a McLaren employee that had never worked on this car before to make a rookie mistake like this. But with some razor blades, a die grinder, some patience, and some 2-part epoxy, I unscrambled the mixed up mounts and went on to mock up the hard lines, which need to be fit in a very specific order and routing. The next morning, armed with some newfound patience, several energy drinks, and Ivan calling out my obvious mistakes from the night before, we assembled the hard lines before seeing some old friends again.
So this is step 987 of installing HVAC. You have to do it 10 times to make sure that you got it right. Now, there is a plug underneath. Did we get that?
Yeah, I got the plug.
Okay.
Now you've got to figure out how to get those 2 lines through, and then, and only then, can you figure out how to get it on the studs.
I only see one stud.
Thank you.
There we go.
Oh man.
Oh, I felt that.
Slipped right in at the end.
Oh, I felt that. That's so nice.
Only 17 tries.
That's okay. It's the last one that counts. All right, so for the final time, I'm installing the HVAC, the HVAC on this side, and that's actually how I started working on this car in the beginning of the episode. But we found out quite a bit of stuff about this car, and I'm already missing parts. Hold on. So this is the brake booster and brake master cylinder for a McLaren P1. However, this is actually from a Porsche 911. It even has the Porsche part number right up here. The only thing that makes it a McLaren part is these little bits right here, and at the back, this little guy right here. So if you took those out, then basically this entire thing, instead of costing about $2,000 or $3,000, this would cost 130 bucks used on eBay. But what we're gonna do, well, what I already did because I'm about to install this part, is I 3D scanned all of these parts. So if we need to make them again, it won't be that big of a deal, and then I can just bolt them on, and we can have a OEM solution that doesn't have the OEM price.
With several small problems behind us, one big issue was staring us in the face. The P1's 903 horsepower twin turbocharged V8 drivetrain, rebuilt and strengthened by Cannonball Garage, needed to be installed in the tub. The first step was routing the rear wiring harness. This was purchased new from McLaren, but it was missing some flimsy metal covers that we remade by 3D printing them out of lightweight carbon fiber reinforced plastic. I bolted the grounding points to the new bare metal frame, being really careful to route the wires exactly where they needed to go, according to the service manual we had on hand and my own personal stash of pictures from my P1's disassembly. Next came some custom powder-coated hydraulic lines that attach the rear suspension components to the front of the car where the hydraulic pump sits. I used factory hardware, torque specs, and for good measure, I marked every bolt I tightened with a paint pen so I didn't have to second guess if something was on properly. The hard lines in the center of the tub were now happily sitting in their correct places, so you can really appreciate how absolutely insane McLaren was for thinking this was the best and most efficient way to build a car. Ivan and I prepped the engine for installation, which meant lifting it with a hoist to get at the underside. Since the rear frame of the McLaren has its strengthening braces on the top, the only way for the engine to mate to the chassis is from the bottom, and it rides on a triangular subframe and 3 P1-specific dog bone engine mounts at the front. And once the mounts were in place and the bolts were torqued to the factory spec, there was only one thing left to do. We lowered the chassis into the engine cradle, and just as it would have been from the factory, everything lined up perfectly, including the giant bolt that holds a transmission in place. And as the father-son duo tightened the final bolt, spirits were unsurprisingly high.
Guys, I don't know if you noticed this, but there is a P1 engine in this P1.
Yes! Okay.
All right, get back on it. 3 years in the making. It's here. Yeah. We still got a long way to go.
I mean, you can swap me around.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Don't get tired now.
Yeah, come on, man.
No, it's just an emotional moment. Okay, let's keep going.
We do have an impact on it. Could have done this in 3 seconds. That's fine.
No. Savor the moment.
Savor it.
Halfway.
Actually, nope, we're there.
There we go.
Good. Now more.
Keep going. Yeah, give it some love. Yeah.
Well, I can put love into it.
We're watching a marriage of 2 parts.
All right. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's all right. Okay. Woo! You're good. All right. P1 engine is in, and well, I wasn't doubting that we'd get this far, but I'm really happy that we did, because everything that we're doing, all the sub-assemblies that we got done, like kind of behind the scenes, now we get to put them together, and now the car comes together really, really quickly. So we can button up the interior, we can do the underside, and then we can do stuff like the battery, and the high voltage battery, and then the fuel tank, and then the suspension, and then it's going to be an actual car.
Can we get a quick tour?
Yeah, let's do a quick tour. So, welcome to the 0-mile American-made McLaren P1. This is a 3.8 liter M838T engine, TQ actually, because this is a hybrid, and it produces 903 horsepower. Now, usually they'd have problems with their rods and being very weak, but thankfully, thanks to Ivan at Cannonball Garage, this has been fortified completely, and this will handle any power you throw at it. But this is going to be a fantastic, fantastic engine. This engine was also featured in the VP4 car, the Validation Prototype 4 car for the McLaren P1 platform. And man, I can't wait to hear this thing run and drive, and this is going to be really, really fast.
With the first major win of this build behind us, a billion potential problems entered the chat. The wiring harness needed to be connected to the various computers and modules in the car, and the P1's cooling system, with its 10 radiators, had to be assembled. Now, this was one of the only things on the build that wasn't factory, as some of the bigger coolers were upgraded and made entirely of aluminium. But unfortunately, aftermarket parts rarely just bolt on. So Ivan has to modify the carbon fiber cooling pack housings to accept the larger coolers. And then we need to test if my hand-me-down cooling fans work after being submerged in salt water.
Oh God.
I see.
They got the full face full of that.
That sounds good. Didn't sound raunchy at all.
Beautiful. Okay.
Wonderful. Fan works.
With the radiators mounted in their forever homes, the P1's iconic carbon fiber dashboard was next to be assembled. And thankfully, the underpinnings of the P1 were exactly the same as a 12C's dashboard, despite looking totally different on the outside. Kenny and Steve swapped over the steering column, switches, and wiring, all of which were identical. And although the P1 steering wheel includes 2 buttons that the parts card didn't have, everything plugged in cleanly, like it was meant to be there. Because it was. The harness work on the tub was a little more messy, however. Routing the rat's nest of wires through the holes on the bulkhead and making sure each connector went to its home took some world-class finagling. But once that was done, we were ready to try and bolt the first big interior piece into place.
You ready to receive, sir?
I got you.
It's all about giving and receiving.
Yeah, so this is going to be really kind of cumbersome.
I got you. Just like factory. I've got support.
Okay.
Yep, I got you.
Okay.
You can let go.
Pivot it down.
Moving
Down.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right. Don't move too quickly now.
Yep, I got you. Got it. I got it supported.
This has been like 3 years of thinking about this exact moment. So it's pretty darn
honestly,
cool.
there's enough room in here for a third seat. I feel like
This is quite satisfying.
Is it?
This is very satisfying.
You ever put a dash in a P1 before?
Stop now.
No. Okay. Wait, no.
All right.
Now we have.
Welcome to a very, very late hour on this 7-day P1 build. Rebuild? No, it's not a rebuild. It's build for the first time. And the dash is in, and what we're gonna do now is see if things turn on. Now, we don't have things like the high voltage battery or Literally any of the front end components, the hydraulic system, none of that is going to work because we don't have the TCU, the transmission control module, or the chassis control unit. So we're going to see if the key that I brought from my car or the key that they have with their modules will work. So what we're trying to do here is have the car understand for the first time that it's a P1. We have our good friend Kevin Prickett over here from
Supercar Garage.
Supercar Garage Cosmetics. I mean, he knows literally everything there is to know about these cars. Literally everything. And that's what he told me. And if there's something he doesn't know, then he's just going to go home without any dinner.
By the way, just as a side note, since we're kind of turning on the brain, is it someone's birthday today? I can't remember. Who is it?
Today is Frank Stephenson's birthday. Frank Stephenson is the designer of this car. And it is actually his birthday today, so it's really funny that
if we wake her up,
we wake this thing up on the creator's birthday.
I'm super excited about this because it feels like for the first time the car will be alive. Now I know everybody's gonna say, well, technically no, because you need to fire up the engine, but this is a hybrid, so if it's running electricity, it's alive.
This thing is just it's basically like it's kind of on life support. You know, it has the stuff that it needs for the brain to work, but everything else just, you know, Papa, my legs are cold. Do not look down here. Do not. Like, whatever.
No, he's bringing the, okay, all right.
So we may have, there's no subframe in this, so you need a grounding point. So we just made our own. So we connected all the grounds together. We connected parts of the chassis together via a very thick cable, and we did everything. You know, like we thought of everything, but just like, this is a very temporary solution. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh! All right, we have a start.
Turn on, start light. Okay.
Turn around or drive it.
No, we had a flash.
We got a flash of something. All right, we got lights over here. Nothing like on the car is really connected, but
Let's just see it.
But we don't have any key or anything. So I'm gonna press this, okay?
All right.
Oh, did something.
God. Oh my God.
The brake lights turned on.
Oh, it's on!
Hey!
Let's go!
Hey! Woo!
Hell yeah!
Happy birthday, Frank Stevenson!
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you!
Oh my God. 0 miles!
Guys, it says call McLaren Service Center.
Wow.
We have 0 miles on the
Yes! 0 freaking miles! That's pretty wild. Let's sell it! Give me a hug. I can't believe it. 3 years. 0 miles.
right.
0 miles. It's a new P1, dude.
Kevin,
Yes.
Ivan, you guys are freaking wizards.
Ooh, I got goosebumps. Okay, we need to do some coding. We need to check some modules. But this thing is alive and it knows it's a P1, and I am pumped. Okay, sit rep. We've run into another issue. So we have a subframe up here that is very, very similar, but not exactly the right thing for the P1. It's a 675 LT subframe, and I believe a 675 LT steering rack. And it has different mounting bosses here. Apparently the 12C and P1 have 2 bolt holes. The 675 LT has 1. I guess it's a better, more efficient design. The lines that go to the steering rack are different. That presents a problem. So we have some solutions. We could take the 12C, the MP4 12C subframe, which will physically fit in the carbon tub, but we don't know if that presents any other issues. So we have to do some research. We're developing this as we go along, sort of like McLaren did, because we want this P1 to be as original as possible. And yeah, fun.
Now, the most important part of researching anything is testing. My layout of the central hydraulic lines was as accurate as I could get it, but I wouldn't know if it was truly correct unless I tried to bolt on the correct subframe and steering rack. So Kenny, Andrew, and I double-checked everything and installed some more coolant tubes, which fed the car's 3 radiators up front. And with everything mounted, we can test how right or wrong we actually were.
Now this is another of many, many moments of truth. Moment of truth.
Moments.
Moments
It
of
can
truth.
be a plural. Yeah.
It can. The subframe that I was going to put in my P1 is actually going in this because we had a little bit of a snafu. The subframe that was supposed to go in didn't fit, and then the subframe from the MP412C parts car also didn't fit. But this one is the correct part number, and we made everything work, and the steering rack is in, and all the plumbing is in, and everything should go in perfectly.
Yep.
And I swear nothing is going to go wrong.
Nothing bad will happen.
Nothing bad.
Nothing bad will happen.
Nothing
This is
bad
gonna
can
be
happen.
magic.
It can only good happen. I am going to lift this up. We have a lifting table, the same one we use for the engine. I am actually not 100% certain how everything is supposed to go.
There's some tight tolerances in here.
There are going to be tolerances here. So
Did you ever see the movie Galaxy Quest?
I have.
You know when they're like pulling out for the first time?
Yeah, and he just
We're
rams
right
it against.
there.
Yeah,
We're right in there.
Okay, so I may have to remove 2 of the. Yeah, I may have to disconnect 2 of the lines that I connected previously. Maybe.
I mean, you have the room here where they could kind of sit here, but then like wouldn't the rack be fighting with this
it
guy
would.
hanging
Yes,
here?
yes, it would. So I
that
don't
would
know.
be problematic. I think maybe we just.
So nothing makes sense on this car.
No,
Nothing. Absolutely
No.
nothing makes sense on this car. If you were one of the people that designed this car, and I'm not talking about the exterior design, I'm talking about the engineering here, then please write me an email and tell me where you live, because
We love you.
I'm going to send you something in the mail.
It's a hug. it's a flowery bed of hugs for sure.
It will smell.
We do have a car that we can take a look at and see.
What are you talking about? What do you
I
mean?
just looked, and
What
you
are
know,
you
there's
saying?
definitely some lines
What
that
are you
run
saying?
under the
Are you
steering
saying
wheel.
there's a P1 here that we can go look at?
There very well
Is that
may
what
be.
you're implying?
Andrew, if you can look in that car and you can see any of these lines, I will give you $100 right
Freddie,
now.
I have X-ray vision.
I will,
will make it
100
happen.
There are 10,000 things in front of this.
I will make it happen.
Yeah, okay.
Can you do it?
All
right? Send it.
It's
Stay
late.
strong,
It's
soldier.
really late.
Go.
It's really late. I just have to lower this just how much?
Like literally like 1/16 of an inch.
Okay, this is really.
Like a little, just like oof. Okay. Squeeze.
Come on.
Is it moving? I can't tell. Is it moving?
Dude, I'm. So McLaren takes 800 hours and 105 people to make one of these cars. And as far as I'm concerned, they have all the parts. They have everything that they need to make one of these cars on the shelf. And we didn't have that, so most of the time we took is just trying to find parts and find things that work. So what's taking them so long?
It's literally they have Legos.
They have
Well,
Legos
they have
and
Legos.
and the instructions.
Like that, we don't have the instructions. That's the best way of putting
They
it.
created the Legos.
Actually, I mean, you know, taking a look at this, it's not bad. It's not bad. Hey, watch this at home. That's a little much. A little much.
Okay.
Come on, relax.
We are off, baby.
Woo! Let's go home. Let's go home.
Let's go home. I think it's a great night.
The goal for the day was to set the car on its wheels and tires, but just like most goals on this build, it was much easier said than done because of how the McLaren P1's suspension works. This F1-derived suspension uses hydraulic valves that transfer pressure to act and react to changes in suspension geometry instantly, and allowed the P1, at the push of a button, to lower its ride height by 2 full inches in race mode, which, fun fact, made it illegal to drive on public roads. It could also increase chassis stiffness by 350%, a feat accomplished by its unique nitrogen-filled carbon fiber accumulators, a set of which cost a pants-wetting $65,000. But before those accumulators are installed to the car, they have to be charged with exactly the right amount of nitrogen. And thanks to a local guy that just so happens to have a day job as a McLaren P1 tech, our accumulators were charged and ready to go back in the car. But not before Ivan gave a quick rundown of what was actually necessary for that to happen.
With the homemade brackets, we had to modify stuff to be able to get the wiring harnesses to go in there. Some of the stuff was already assembled, so we took a bunch of stuff apart so that we could actually put these in. There were special isolators that had to be put in. We had to clean this block. We had to double check this. I mean, there's just a lot of, buy a special wrench so we could get in here. It's been a lot of fun, but I think we're finally to the point where we can put the first accumulator in the corner, and then hopefully we'll progress from there and get some of these hydraulic lines attached for the last time.
Let's get her done.
Get her done.
You know, these young guys, they come in and then they start doing it, and all they do is complain. You know, they're like, oh, I have to do this and this. Like, yeah, you know, that's why it took McLaren 60 years to make this car. Every car takes 60 years and 10,000 people. Did you know that?
The suspension was assembled at all four corners with all bolts torqued carefully and appropriately. Now, the P1's components are made to withstand some extreme forces, but if you introduce something it wasn't designed for, like a cross-threaded bolt, then you'd be surprised at how quickly the entire system can fail catastrophically, and that would definitely ruin my weekend. But the true test of a hydraulic system is how well it can handle pressure, because without that pressure, the car wouldn't be able to support its own weight. So the next step was crucial.
This is our hydraulic bleed machine. This is a factory tool, not a cheap one at that. And what this does is it's going to draw a vacuum on the entire system. It's going to put it into almost pure vacuum. That allows any of the moisture in the system to be boiled out. It's going to basically evacuate everything from that system. We're going to let it sit like that for a while. We're going to leak check it that way. We've checked it under pressure. We're going to check it under vacuum. Once we're good to go, we'll be able to open up valves, and fluid from this machine will fill those voids that are currently under vacuum, and we'll fill the system. So we've got a couple of ports in the back here that these connect to. So this will get snapped into place. We're going to open up these valves so that it can pull a vacuum. We'll turn the machine on. We'll make sure it's shut so it can create a vacuum. And you can see it's going to go ahead and develop a really good vacuum and evacuate that system. So we're going to let this sit for probably 20 minutes. If you look in here, you can actually see the air that's being drawn out. We're going to let it sit for about 20 minutes and boil that moisture off. We'll turn the machine off and see if that vacuum drops. If it doesn't drop, we're good to go ahead and open up those valves and fill the system.
As the expensive hydraulic fluid was poured in with hopes that it wouldn't make its way onto the floor, I assembled the carbon fiber front wheel arches, which housed the front radiators known as the low temperature circuit. Instead of cooling engine coolant like the high temperature radiators, these radiators worked with the air-to-water intercooler system to make sure that the air going into the engine was as cold and dense as possible. The chassis control unit, or CCU, is next to be installed onto the hydraulic fluid reservoir, right next to the car's alarm system siren, HVAC assembly, and auxiliary vacuum pump that was taken from a McLaren GT4 race car. There quite literally is no room for error on this car. And that theme follows to the rear end, where the freshly powder-coated gloss black OEM wheels are installed over the $100,000 silicon carbide brakes. The titanium lug nuts are tightened and the lift is lowered so our homemade P1 can feel its own weight for the first time.
Down she comes.
Well, this thing can't go any slower. This is the slowest lift ever.
Yes, it is.
Literally a snail could escape disaster. Yeah.
Everybody happy with their quarter?
I'm happy with mine.
I'm watching.
All right.
She's good here.
Steve, you got eyes on it?
I got eyes on. Hold up.
How are we on the right front?
We're good. We need to remove the strap.
It's holding. Look at that. Wow.
There it is.
Give me some hugs, people. Come on, Ivan. I need a hug. Kenny?
All right.
Big hug. Come on, you're my son. Make it awkward.
Let's do it. Make it awkward. Look at that.
Wow.
Well, that looks like a car.
Heck yeah.
Dude, it steers, it rolls.
I know.
You're done.
The fact that this isn't attached doesn't matter.
No, the car's finished.
As happy as that moment made us, we knew that the car was far from finished. And since we were quickly running out of time before the SEMA show, I had a decision to make.
Welcome everyone to what is the middle of the night. It's actually past the middle of the night. It's because it's not midnight. It is, what time is it?
It's 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m.?
Yeah, it's 2 a.m.
1:54.
There you go.
1:54. It is almost the witching hour.
Yes.
So we have decided on a few things on this car, and that did not come lately. Now, there have been leaps and bounds made on this car. We have done quite a bit. I mean, we have bumper, we have everything here.
Like a car.
It does.
Thing. I mean, it was a Husk when we started,
it
so
is,
it is
it has
a
been a
car.
long road.
Yeah, so that's good.
It is. It does look like a car. However, SEMA is. I mean, I make the joke that hey,
close.
SEMA's tomorrow. Like SEMA is basically tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we are going to put a pause on the build. We're going to button up everything that we can. We're going to put the clamshells on. We're going to make sure everything in the front is buttoned up and the interior's in. And right now we're going to put the rear clamshell on. And in order to do that, we have to put the bumper on. And then we put some other stuff on. And we make lots of jokes because it's real late. Yeah, there you go.
Really
there you go.
late,
Yeah,
right?
no, keep doing
What
it.
was the Price is Right when they're like, here.
Here,
Get into it. Come on.
you can have this.
There you go, right? Like, ooh. We just need the little mankinis, and then we can be.
We are getting loopy. I have to also leave tomorrow because, well, I don't live here. I live thousands of miles away. But I want to make sure that by the time I leave, this is going to be ready for SEMA, and then we'll do SEMA. You've never been to SEMA. You've never been to SEMA, and you know that's going to be cool. And then the car can go, and then I'll come back here.
I'm sorry, it's so late.
It's fine. Hold on. What was that? Huh?
I think we just give her a.
Should I tell you how much this is from McLaren?
Yeah. This
Hold
is
it
a
up
fun
higher,
time to say it.
higher. There we go.
This is a fun time to say it.
So this rear clamshell is $130,000 from McLaren.
Yeah.
And this is also painted in a very special
Color.
McLaren orange.
Up it goes. And in she goes, baby.
Okay, so you gotta be real careful.
Nice and slow.
Nice and slow, like.
Nice and slow. Cop a good feel. There we go. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Oh,
Watch over there to make sure it's not
sliding on.
not hitting anything.
No, we're good.
Oh no. How hard are we pulling? How hard are we persuading? Oh! In.
Look at that. Hold on. That ain't going nowhere.
Now it ain't going anywhere. That's what it took. That looks really freaking good.
Bro, look at that.
Dude,
Telling you. Hell yeah.
that's a car.
Hell yeah.
Oh, shit.
He's like, oh, my back. This looks dope.
Well, it's almost like it was meant for this.
Yeah, it's almost like these are OEM parts.
Wow. That's pretty freaking wicked.
Yeah, so I have an idea. We should go home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
The next morning, both of the P1's glass roof panels were installed with window urethane, followed by the windshield. Now, while the install isn't any more complicated than on a regular car, at $30,000 for the glass, we weren't taking any chances. I then pulled the chassis out of its hole for the first time all week to get a better look at our progress. This car had gone from a bare shell to a car that had its wiring, mechanical components, and countless brackets, lines, and fittings in their correct factory positions. And even though it still looked like a work in progress, I was really proud of what this team accomplished in such a short amount of time. Now this is looking more like a P1. The McLaren orange and the black, I was not convinced at first, and now I'm looking at it, this looks
fantastic. And we still have a lot of work to go. Right now, we're installing some brand new sills, and these are OEM sills. You think that this is part of the carbon tub, but it's not. So Nelson is the owner of Nelson Racing Design, and he does everything carbon fiber to such a degree that you're on Netflix, you've had multiple SEMA cars, and you know, like this is home for you. So what are we doing?
We took off the old sills because they had some cosmetic issues, and then we refinished the new sills that you guys brought to me, and I'm bonding it back in, but I'm bonding it in such a way that gives us some latitude on fitment, as well as like enduring gloss is the best way to put it. But we were just fixing something that was more of a visual aesthetic issue, and you know, the goal is to do it better than what it was originally. So we're trying to, you know, kind of one-up McLaren a little bit.
Absolutely. We have been one-upping McLaren this entire build. Don't look back there. This looks fantastic, and you and your team have been really hard at work, because this came to us, well, it came to Steve and Kenny in like a complete matte finish, and you guys did an amazing gloss makeover, and honestly, this looks way better than the factory.
Yeah, and you know, we made some big commitments, and we did it in a couple of days. You know, I have my whole team out here, and we just stripped the car completely back to the base dry carbon and completely sealed it, refinished it, cleared it, cut and buffed. We did the whole 9, I would say in record time. So we definitely, you know, SEMA build status, but not in the usual way. It's gonna look better.
It's nothing short of a gift to see Nelson, a true master of his craft, handle an incredibly rare piece of bodywork with confidence, because it helps me understand that no matter what the project is, it can be taken apart and put back together if you're careful enough and do things right. And having said that, it was now my turn to take something apart and hopefully not break it.
All right, I had to get out of the garage because this next work is a little bit fiddly. So these are the switches from my P1. Since this was in a saltwater flood, obviously we can't use any electronics because everything is corroded, and you can still kind of hear that there's sand in it. Now these are proprietary to the P1. They connect in a interesting way, but I've noticed that the switches for the 12C, the MP4 12C, they have the exact same faces, and I wager that if we take off the housings of these and replace them with the internals of these, because these actually work, they're from a working car, I think we'll have some working switches. Now McLaren want like a few $1,000 for this, and it's insane because you can buy this for like maybe $100 on eBay. There's like an outer layer and then an inner layer. Last one, get that housing off, and this should slide right off like that. Boom. And here is the circuit board. Very nice, very clean. The front of the switch you can take off by just pulling it, I think. Yep, there we go. So that is now loose. This is aluminum, or since it's British, aluminium. And now we take apart the P1 housing that has been in a really bad flood, and hopefully this doesn't have some brain-eating amoeba that kills me. But if it hasn't done it yet, there's either no amoeba or no brain. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but there's some crystallization and corrosion, and it's definitely possible that this could have worked, but who knows if the salt water created some sort of arcing and it would have failed over time. So we're gonna not use this. When there's corrosion, it just makes everything really graunchy, and that is a technical term. This is the good housing. There's not really any corrosion. A little bit of wear, but that's fine. Look at that. That is just nasty. That is reckless. Probably shouldn't take your P1 to the beach and have it go into the ocean, because that's what happens. And here is the finished product. Look at that. So we have the P1 housing, so this should be fine. And we have the internals of the MP4 12C. We also re-greased them, so they, oh, listen to that. Just listen to that. All right, I think that's gonna work.
With my switches fully operational, they, along with the entire billionaire door assembly on the P1, was installed onto the car. And since it's so close to the windshield, it helps to have a few people hold the weight of the door while it's being installed. Next up is the front clamshell, which is one giant piece of carbon fiber, and it's installed like a tight-fitting suit around the P1's iconic headlights, which were taped up so they didn't get any scratches on them. And with that last piece of bodywork in place, the homemade P1 was on the ground and ready for SEMA. When the car showed up to the SEMA loading bay, I was nervous because of how much was done to the car and how much we still had left to do. But as soon as the trailer door swung open, I saw that I had nothing to worry about. And I really have to thank this guy, Andrew, who not only drove this precious cargo 750 miles in a day, but he worked for weeks before we attempted the build, making comprehensive parts lists, sorting tools, and making sure we had everything we needed. He is without a doubt the unsung hero of this project, and I'm proud to call him a friend. And as we moved the P1 into the Rag Company booth, with a cameo from Ed Bullion, it felt like, at least for the next few days, we could finally relax.
So we are at SEMA. I have a brand new layer of flop sweat, but the P1 is here, and it's still a work in progress. We still have a lot to do, but I wanted people to see, we all wanted people to see
Indeed.
what is going on here.
Been quite the process to get here.
Absolutely.
But we're here.
For the amount of work that we put in, honestly, a month ago, this thing was nothing. This thing was just a frame. And the fact that it's now here in the biggest car show in the world, it is like I have to pat this guy on the back, and
it's pretty special.
Yeah, like
it's
just
pretty special.
Everybody involved is just a superhero. But we still have a lot of work to do on this. But I'm glad it's here, and now at least for the next few days, it's not going anywhere, and we can rest.
Thank you.
With the car back in Denver and on the lift, we were amped to get the car running for the first time. And that meant the McLaren orange bodywork would have to be removed. This gave me a great opportunity to 3D scan the underside of the car to use on my custom P1 build, because Nelson, the carbon fiber wizard I introduced, agreed to help me create the carbon body that I had designed by Frank Stephenson, the P1's original designer. Now you can watch this entire process on my second channel soon, along with some big updates on my flooded P1. But as far as our homemade one, it was time to put the hybrid in this hybrid hypercar.
Welcome to McLaren Battery 101. This is the Gen 2 battery for the P1, and we got our technicians here, and we have high voltage gloves. You are double gloved.
Double gloved.
So the reason why you're double gloved is actually because this isn't like for high voltage safety. This is so the glove underneath doesn't rip. What we have to do now is on the side of this battery sits this guy, which is called
the beautiful MCU.
An MCU,
not Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, it's actually like a DC to DC converter. It converts the nearly 600 volts in this battery to 12 volts for the rest of the car, and this acts as the alternator, the charging system, a lot of that really, really cool stuff. The only thing is, this was bought afterwards. This battery was bought brand new from McLaren, and they did not come together. So we have to make a few brackets, we have to make like a ground cable, and in order to connect all of this, we have to disconnect this battery using good old-fashioned labor. There's a bunch of bolts. We have to physically lift the battery out of its housing, the carbon fiber housing, and then we're gonna put this inside and connect it all together, put it in the car, and then hopefully not have a massive fire.
Safety first.
Yeah, we love safety. That's our plan.
The operating theme for today is don't die.
Now, all jokes aside, this was the first time any of us, including myself, had worked on a battery like this, which plays a critical role in the car's hybrid drivetrain. While a normal car has one 12-volt battery that runs the car's electronics and starts the engine, the P1 has its 12-volt battery handling the car's computer systems, while starting the engine is handled by its 600-volt battery, which spins the electric motor sandwiched between the engine and transmission. This new second-generation battery is actually the same technology and cells that they use in McLaren's upcoming W1 hypercar. It uses special dielectric oil to cool its cells, which are 4 times more efficient than the original. And it does actually actually make the P1 faster, but only because it weighs 50 kilos or about 100 pounds lighter than the first generation battery the car would have come with. However, all this performance does come at a price, and I hope you're sitting down because this new high voltage battery cost $200,000 to buy from McLaren, so we had to get this right. We removed the tiny M6 bolts at the bottom of the battery, manhandled the whole thing out of its housing, slotted the junkyard MCU in, and prayed that the high voltage electricity gods weren't overdue for a human sacrifice.
I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I don't know why I keep saying that, but
He thinks we're okay.
I think we're okay.
We then fabricated and installed new copper bus bars that connected the battery and the MCU, making sure that everything that didn't need to touch had heat shrink and insulating spray over it to prevent any possibility of a short circuit. And after the factory foam was fitted, the entire battery assembly was nearly ready to be installed.
But there is one thing that we're still missing from the battery, and that is this guy. I don't know what this is called. I think this is the emergency disconnect or battery disconnect. Basically what this is it's inside the car. You can take it out anytime you need to de-energize the battery. So the battery has high voltage in it. If you take this out, the battery essentially becomes, well, it becomes a little bit less of a bomb. But this is from my car. You can see that my battery got really, really angry. And yeah, this plastic, supposed to be all orange, not orange anymore. And I've already taken this all apart. Now, there are just metal connectors in here, and the connectors don't look too bad, but they can look a lot better, and I want this to look as new as possible. So what I did is I got a ultrasonic cleaner here, and that water looks really, really nasty. I'll put these metal parts in here, like that. Put this guy in here, something like that. And probably get some more water. When I turn this on, then bubbles should happen, and if I leave it on for a while, then I should have a cleaner part that we can actually use in this P1. This is always like a really annoying sound. That's soothing.
Now you might be wondering why we're reusing this questionable part in the insanely expensive new battery assembly. Well, this part, which is necessary for every McLaren P1 battery to function correctly, is discontinued, with no stock available anywhere in the world. And with the part cleaned and ready to go on the homemade P1, it became harder and harder to see that this wasn't a factory-built McLaren. So we made it easy.
We are signing the plates inside the battery compartment because number one, those are completely fabricated by us. Look how great
I'm really proud of metal.
Yeah.
That's some good looking metal.
It does look very, very good. And also because this was a kind of do-it-yourself, choose-your-own-adventure story that we have figured out, and I believe we have a solution that looks just as good, if not better, than the McLaren factory. So go ahead, Drew.
Let's get her done.
Let's get her done.
I'm on my tippy toes, man.
That's right. We can get you a stepping stool.
I know I'm short, okay? I don't need to hear it.
Get in there, Montgomery. Watch your head.
Yep.
As I whack my head up in here. We can raise the lid.
Look at that. That's a man right there.
Go, Freddy, go. I'll do. Right up here. Oh, God. That is a 4K angle of your forearm. Perfect.
Look at that. Sweet.
Perfect.
So this battery is about 500 to 600 volts, which is a lot of volts, and it's DC direct current, which means that if you get hit with this, then you die really, really quickly. So everybody that's touching the battery has high voltage gloves. They're brand new, and they're rated for voltage way, way higher than this.
5,000 volts.
Yeah, it's fine. So what we're gonna do is we have this lift that can lift things like basically to the ceiling here. It can do like some crazy, crazy heights. And we have our We have our manimals here.
Yeah.
I feel really good about this. The guys did a fantastic job putting all of the insulation and all the shielding and all the foam. Everything up there is exactly as it would be from the McLaren factory. And as long as we play a little bit of operation and don't touch the sides, I think we should be maybe okay.
Many hands make light work, but having a battery that weighs all of 100 pounds with 4 guys propping it up makes things much easier than I thought. We ditched the lifting table and raised the battery into its home by hand, and then fastened it down with about 20 M6 bolts to the carbon tub. The high voltage battery connects to the e-motor with 3 thick wires, routed underneath the engine and installed with 3 M8 bolts. It's pretty common for these wires to rub on the bottom of the car, so I wrapped them in cloth tape to prevent chafing in the future. Then installed the factory wire guides to the bottom of the engine oil pan. Now it may not look like it, but squeezing these thick wires into a flimsy plastic guide was one of the most frustrating parts of this entire build. I then got to work making a grounding cable that connected the P1's hydraulic lines together. I used my P1's corroded yellow cables as a template and then eyeballed the lengths of the wire that I needed, crimping the ends with the same style of connectors, and then finishing it all up with some waterproof marine-grade heat shrink. I then installed it onto the car with new McLaren M6 hardware and medium-strength thread locker before moving on to a piece we sourced from the 12C parts car, the thin cardboard divider between engine and fuel tank. Now, while the 12C's part was close enough, I did have to modify it to fit the P1. So I re-glued and reshaped the fabric on one side, but on the other side, I installed adhesive heat shielding to reflect away the engine's intense radiant heat. It's not exactly gold Tavarish tape, but it'll do. Our once massive parts pile was getting smaller and the car was looking more and more complete. But the devil is always in the details.
Okay, the guys are all hands on deck over there, and this is not exactly the most fun thing in the world. This is wiring. So this long harness is what's called the hybrid drive assembly e-motor resolver harness. This is essentially like a signal, like all these wires carry signals from the hybrid drive assembly to the battery tray and up to the MCU, which is the battery control module. Now, I wanted to know which wires do what because this is something that we had to make. On my car, we did have one, but as you can probably guess, a completely water-damaged, waterlogged car is not very good for electrical connectivity, especially when they're shielded, because this has to be shielded, meaning that each of these has a ground and is looped around all the way through the wire to make sure that there's no interference with any other signals. Now, I figured out what the actual wires do. They did have different wire colors, and I made a little wiring diagram here. Don't worry about my chicken scratch. So I figured that out. However, I didn't know which ones were shielded, and I'd have to open up some of these wires and shield them and everything like that. So I decided to look up the wiring diagram for the P1. And then I saw the schematic for the P1. This is the OEM schematic for the P1. And I'm getting a little geeky here, but I'm also getting quite angry because right here, you see, this is the resolver circuit. All of these are the resolver circuit. There's 7 wires and 3 pairs of shielded. So this right here means that they're connected and they're shielded. If you look right here, this certainly looks like this is incomplete because right here, this is the high voltage tray inlines. Means that this is on the bottom of the battery and this is an inline connector that goes outside the car. You can see right here, it goes from inside the battery tray to outside the battery tray. Each one of these pins has a corresponding pin outside, and that goes to the rest of the car. Same right here. And then you get to this guy, IMBTR3. That is the name of the connector, and that just goes absolutely nowhere. And we know that's not true because there is a harness this guy with 7 wires and 3 pairs of shielded cables, and there's nothing here. And I've been looking for probably close to 2 hours now. So this is really, really, really finicky, but I will figure this out. This is not gonna beat me.
For anyone wondering about how to backwards engineer a wiring harness on a $2 million hypercar from scratch, it's not really that difficult if you have an original harness for reference. Unfortunately, in my case, my original damaged harness was lost at some point during the build, so I only had a few pictures to guide me in the right direction. And while I did buy the correct TE connector housing that I needed, the actual pins that crimp onto the wires weren't included, and the 1,000-piece wiring kit I was using didn't have any pins that fit. So I found some pins that were close enough to make contact, and then triple-checked that my homemade wiring diagram was flawless.
Okay, I believe that I'm done. Now, this looks like a complete mess because it is. But this is one end, this is a TE connector, and this is another end, this is a Deutsch connector, and I believe I got all of the wires hopefully correct. So what we're gonna do is a continuity test, and what that means is I wanna see if the pins that I put on this connector and the pins that I put on this connector basically connect. And if they don't, that is a bad problem. So if they are connected, then I will just touch these two together, and it makes a little noise. So right now we're on pin 1 on the TE connector, which means I should be on pin 1 of the Deutsch connector, and that's good. I'm also going to test all the other connectors just to make sure we don't have continuity with anything else, because that would suck. Pin 2 should be pin 3 on the Deutsch connector, so that is this guy. Boom. Pin 3 should be pin 5, so that is this guy. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so now we can go install this on the car. This took way longer than it needed to.
The resolver harness I made had to be routed along the back wall of the tub, in front of the engine, along with the fuel lines, air lines, electrical connections, and mounting brackets. It is very true that the final fiddly 10% of the job takes 90% of the time. Kenny, Andrew, and I mounted and tightened down every coolant hose we could find and pressure tested the cooling system because, just like the engine, the battery needs coolant to work, and there was only one way to fill this system properly.
It's late, and it is day 7. That is not true. I have an airlift vacuum system, and we are going to vacuum the entire cooling system. Now, we already pressurized it, so we know that there's no leaks. Thank goodness, because there are 10,000 different ways that coolant can escape the system. We still don't know if it's 100% airtight, but I believe that it is because we ran the first test. Now, this test is really, really annoying because this is a little loud. Just put that in there. That. So what's going to happen now, I'm going to open up this valve, and it's going to create a vacuum in the cooling system. You might see right here, yeah, now it's pulling a vacuum, and all the hoses are getting scrunched up like this. Look at this, look at this, look what's going on here. Look at that. Ooh, she's a little flat. So what we're going to do after, hopefully it holds, we're going to put a hose from here into a bucket full of Valvoline Xerox coolant, and then we are going to fill the entire system, and hopefully...
You meant Kool-Aid, right?
I meant Kool-Aid. I meant Kool-Aid. It was actually Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Do not drink coolant, ladies and gentlemen, because if you do, you're going to end up making decisions like building a P1 from scratch. I'm going to open this valve, and it should suck it up. There we go. Look at that. Just pour that in. Well, open up to camera so they can see the Valvoline Xerox.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at, yeah.
That's the only brand we use.
That's the only brand that exists in the world. That's not true. You can never have enough, what does it say? G48 antifreeze coolant. Oh, it's splashing.
And without a drop of coolant on the ground, I fired up the McLaren Diagnostic System, or MDS, to clear the car's error codes and attempt to fire up the P1 for the first time. Unfortunately, the car had other plans.
So it is 1 in the morning. I'm doing some programming, and yeah, I mean, take a look. The instrument cluster is getting reprogrammed right now. Everyone has left. This is my last day here because we have spent a lot of time, and I really want to get this car started. You have no idea how much we've actually done. I mean, behind the scenes, what we've shot already is so much, but to get this car started, at least some sort of signs of life from absolutely nothing to a running car would be not only monumental, but it's never been done in the history of the world. So it is fighting me every step of the way, but I'm not giving up. I haven't given up thus far. It's angry. It's angry at me. Now, let me be real. This was a monumental task, not only for me, but for everybody else here. We had basically a dozen people over the course of a few months do this project, and everything has fought us because we had to make a lot of parts. We had to get parts from other cars that were sort of kind of compatible. We had to make them work. And then all the computer stuff. Did you know that each computer, there are 3 of them, the 3 main computers that control the chassis, the transmission, and the engine, each one for a P1 costs $90,000. Each one. What we did is we got ECUs from 12Cs and 650Ss, that sort of thing, because hardware-wise, they're exactly the same thing, and we just reprogrammed them, so now the car thinks it has P1 ECUs because essentially it does, and we saved, I mean, nearly $300,000. So if we can't do this, if for some reason we run into a roadblock and we can't get the car started, or there's just some sort of insurmountable thing with the computers and it ends up not starting, that means that realistically this is not possible. We had all the resources in the world. We had McLaren in UK overnighting parts, whatever they can find, and a lot of these parts are basically back ordered for eternity. So if we can't do it, I think no one can, but I think we can do it. Welcome to 6:38, 6:40 in the morning. Yeah, this is actually it's 6:49 a.m. and the guys left around 11 p.m., 12, something like that. So I've been here all night and trying to figure out why this car does not start and has a ton of electrical problems. Go figure with McLaren. This may require a software update because we have the Gen 2 battery. There's a ton of error codes and it doesn't know what's going on. Like, I have reprogrammed nearly every module in the car and it's still not enough. So the good thing is I got the doors programmed. So each of the doors have a computer in them. I got the gauge cluster programmed, so that's all good. Every single one of the ECUs is programmed, so the ECU, the TCU, the transmission control module, and the CCU, which is the chassis control module, that is all programmed and doesn't have any real big error codes. But the high voltage system is the issue here. I don't think we have any actual problems, like any physical problems. I looked around and I tried to see if there's anything disconnected, anything left unplugged, and anything like leaking. Honestly, it looks really good. Everything is connected, and I've went over this car 17,000 times. So I'm gonna go get some sleep, and I have given instructions to the guys to do stuff while I'm gone, and then hopefully we can start this car. I don't know if this is possible, but if this car goes and gets the software update that it needs, I'm really confident that it's gonna start up. I'm so tired. I can't tell. I also hit my head. I hit my head over here. You can't tell, but I got a little bump and it hurts. And it's really dry. I'm complaining a lot. I wish I had better news for you. So McLaren took a look at the car, and long story short, they can't do anything. I don't know if it's an electronics issue or a coding issue. The fact remains, we have a car that we put our blood, sweat, and tears into, and it's no closer to starting. And honestly, I don't know what to do at this point. The only thing that I could think of is a few months back, I actually bought 3 Gen 1 batteries that came out of P1s, but those batteries are basically junk. They were sold to me as cores. So we'd have to be absolutely insane to consider putting one of these batteries in our newly built P1. Right?
There we go.
Perfect.
Oh, holy shit.
Reposition a little bit.
Yep.
And then we should
lower it.
Lower it.
Lowering lower, 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 lower,
all the way down.
Oh my God!
What we have here is a Gen 2 battery that is now outside the car, and it is a $200,000 paperweight for now. But
we'll find use for it. We'll find, yeah.
You got RC cars and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
We'll hook it up, you know.
There you go.
So like a really heavy RC car.
I do like the positivity.
Yes. Okay, maybe not.
The junkyard Gen 1 battery may save the day. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is now we have to take this, which is the MCU.
The MCU's got to go off.
And then we connect a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we can put in that battery, which is, by the way, twice as heavy as this, and it's also bigger.
Yeah, but our state-of-the-art lift module is going to take care of this for us. It's going to be great.
That ain't going nowhere.
100%. We're ready to roll.
Here's something you should probably know. The MCU, or motor control unit we're using, was sold to me for about $1,000 as a core, meaning that it was completely untested and could have been defective. But since McLaren wanted $75,000 for a new MCU, it was well worth it to try our luck with the junkyard part.
The MCU is out.
It is free and it's leaky.
Is very free.
We need to move it to over there now, which is
so now we have a junkyard MCU
with
and a junkyard battery,
Yeah.
and that is going to save the day, and we're going to have a running McLaren P1. I can't believe that's going to happen. I've spent 7 months here.
All right, so I've been thinking, what if we built a P1 in 1 week?
Totally.
A non-working $200,000 battery was a tough pill to swallow, but an even harder one would have been a non-running $2 million car, so we had to take every chance at success we could get. We lifted the much heavier battery with an engine hoist at its structural mounts, then slotted in the hand-me-down MCU, connected the 2 coolant lines at the bottom, and installed the ground cable and a few electrical connections. To deal with the extra weight of the older battery, Steve bought a very expensive battery lifting tray, which definitely wasn't 2 wooden pallets that we cut down and nailed together with a moving blanket on top. The battery was physically bigger than the Gen 2 unit, so our tolerances were even tighter. But as we've proven so far on this build, if McLaren can do it, then there's no reason why we couldn't. We used the same M6 bolts to secure the battery to the carbon tub, crossing our fingers that it didn't self-eject as soon as we removed the jack.
We're gonna carefully lower our McLaren lifting, or battery lifting system. Now it's battery lowering system. It does both ways, so that's why it costs so much. Ready? Oh my God.
Yay!
Yay! It didn't fall out. Perfect. Again, let's do it again.
Let's do it again. All right. Oh, I forgot to hit record.
And with all the confidence that the sunk cost fallacy could afford us, we filled the transmission and clutch with fluid, both of which have expensive hydraulic oils that don't mix together. We then vacuum filled the coolant system, again, and checked for any leaks, again, and then I did a read for a weird new sponsor.
Brought to you by doing things 3 times, because why do it once or twice when you can do it 3 times?
If anyone says, have you thoroughly
thoroughly put this car, have you been thorough while putting this car together? I would say yes.
I think we need to rename this project to Project Anxiety. I will not sleep at night if I know that there's a bolt on this car that's not correct.
I have nightmares about misshapen foam.
This is unlocked things inside your psyche that you don't want awakening.
Just wake up and you're like, oh man,
oh, thank God.
Ivan then pressure tested the cooling system by hand pumping pressure into the tank, which was a pretty tiring job. But we were ready to give him some much needed moral support.
So stupid.
After the P1's jams were thoroughly pumped, we bled the air out of the brake lines because the car needs to see a positive brake pressure signal to crank the motor. Everything was smooth sailing until we realized that there was something very wrong with our junkyard battery. On McLaren's diagnostic system, it told us that there was a fault with a high voltage contactor, which meant that it wasn't able to complete the high voltage circuit. And this was confirmed when we tried to plug in an original P1 charger, and it gave us some red and green rings of death. This was the worst case scenario. We were down 2 high voltage batteries, and the car wasn't any closer to starting. Our only option was to remove the battery again and figure out if it was even possible to fix it. Turns out, it was.
Battery's out again.
The battery's out.
We had a code for the negative contactor, which is basically a relay. These yellow guys right here, I thought these were bad. Turns out, wasn't connected. Good. Basically what it does is it allows the high voltage to be transferred into the MCU, which is the DC to DC converter, and also the motor control unit. It uses 12 volts to basically switch the current on and off. I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with this, but we're gonna test them anyway. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna attach 12 volts, so it's really easy. Red is positive, black is negative. We should hear a contactor click.
Works like a charm. Why was this battery pulled from a P1? It was probably throwing the same error.
Oh my good.
And no one picked it up to check the contactor plugs. They just replaced the entire battery.
That's crazy.
That actually sounds very McLaren of them.
That just wiggled out over time.
Yeah, it is a really loose connector.
Yeah.
And this could have just wiggled out. And second contactor is
fine.
Good. Yeah, we're all right. I love obvious problems, like there's your problem.
Yeah.
It does suck that we can't test this outside of the car.
Yeah.
It would be great if we could just connect this right there. That way we know that everything's good. But no, we have to literally put this back in the car, do the entire thing.
Coolant has to run through it.
Coolant has to run through it. We have to do the high voltage lines and all that, and then we'll come up with lots of other problems.
After getting the world record for the P1 battery install any % speed run, Ivan and I cleared the car's error codes, expecting some new problems to solve. But a funny thing happened.
This is something different.
I think it did that before.
Yeah, not with this battery. It did it with the other one. Oh,
Holy
holy
dude.
Let's go.
Dude.
Dude.
Steve, oh my God.
We
got green.
We got it charging. It's doing something.
Wow.
That's, wow.
I'll be a flapjack dipped in syrup.
Battery is in, and we have good charging. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have other issues. We still probably do.
It's a step in the right direction.
It is absolutely a step in the right direction. So we need to change out the body control module because it still won't accept the key. All of the antennas for the key are on there. I know that the door is like this and it's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. That is a really good sign. I was not expecting that.
I don't think I've ever been so excited to see a couple green lights.
With the high voltage battery free of trouble codes, at least for now, we were in uncharted waters and hell-bent on starting the engine. But we still had plenty of pre-flight checks to complete. The P1's dry sump oil tank and lines were installed. We also bled the hybrid drive assembly clutch system and filled the engine with a jug of the finest blurred label oil we could get. I had one more part to change, however, which meant getting completely horizontal to change out the last piece of the electrical puzzle.
So I have put in another part from my car. It's called the SBC, which is the Security Body Control Module, which is a combination module that basically ties a ton of stuff into the car. It tells computers to talk to other computers. Long story short, we couldn't get the new body control module to actually take a new key. It's some really long and drawn out process. We actually do have the process from McLaren, but for some reason, didn't work. But I had my body control module cloned to a good piece of hardware, and I have my original key, my original P1 key. We're gonna see if this thing works. So if I unlock the car, it clicked. If I lock the car, oh, that's, horn works. Ooh, look, the light's on. Oh, we're getting close. We are getting close. We're getting close to something. I don't know if it's starting, but getting close to something.
At this point, I was getting very excited because there were only two things left preventing this car from starting. First was the key immobilizer, which would usually blink the engine start button to show there was an electrical problem. And second was the fact that we needed a functional electric motor to crank the engine without starting it, ensuring that oil circulated properly without the risk of damage from running dry. So if my fix worked and the P1 start button didn't blink, we would, in theory, be all set to crank the engine.
Does not blink.
OMG,
does not blink.
What?
Does not blink.
We are so much
Dude.
Holy
this.
Let's go. Immobilizer's good?
Oh yeah. Immobilizer's good. We got good SBC. We got good battery. Let's fire this up. Let's fire this up. I got goosebumps, man.
Dude, seriously.
Woo! The only P1 in existence to be not built in the McLaren factory. That is insane. That is insane. If this works, then this is the first time in the history of humanity that somebody has created a cranking P1 that wasn't made in the McLaren factory. That's in ACC2.
Holy crap.
All right, we have brake pedal pressure.
Brake lights.
Brake lights are on.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
He cranks! Holy!
Oh my god! Oh my, dude!
Oh my god!
Dude!
We're done.
Oh, I'm gonna cry! No way! No way! Oh my god! Oh, dude!
Oh, yes. It's over. We did it. I love you guys. Ivan, just get back up. Holy guys, dude.
The joy and relief I felt was overwhelming because I knew that my junkyard battery had indeed saved the day. But some of you may have noticed that Ivan was a little less enthused than the rest of us. And that's because he's a superhuman that sensed right off the bat that something might have been wrong. And a few minutes later, he confirmed it.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's turning the wrong direction.
So we knew that the e-motor turned, just not in the right direction. So my thoughts immediately went to my homemade wiring harness either being incorrectly wired or making a bad connection because the pins weren't 100% correct. Ivan and I double-checked the wiring layout, which was correct, And then Ivan made a jumper harness to connect each wire as securely as possible. We then hoisted the P1's massive fuel tank into place and connected all of the incredibly hard to reach lines to the rest of the car. We cleared the error codes, recalibrated the e-motor's position sensors so it could know which way to turn, and filled it with 5 gallons of fresh premium fuel. So all we had left to do was press the start button and to see what happened next.
So after, how many years have you been stockpiling parts and buying parts and figuring out solutions for this car?
3.
I think it's 4 now.
Almost 4. Almost 4.
Almost 4 years, and this is a bone stock P1. This is as close to a factory example as you can get, but it has never, this car has never been to the McLaren factory. We had a brand new Gen 2 battery, didn't end up working, but it's okay because we got a Gen 1 battery, which is
twice.
We did do it twice. We had to do it twice. But now we have everything working electrically, everything working hopefully mechanically, and I have goosebumps.
I have goosebumps.
I have goosebumps.
Cannot wait.
It's either the carbon fiber splinters or goosebumps.
Ivan is now putting in the first fueling of this car. This is a 0-mile P1 made in America, and we are going to try to fire it up for the very first time. This is, I cannot tell you how important this is because this has never been done in the history of humanity, and I don't think this will ever be done.
It will never be done again.
This is a cautionary tale.
Nor
Yes, this is
should it be done.
Nor should it be done.
Do not attempt this at home.
All right, okay, let's
do it.
Let's see.
Let's go.
How this runs.
Kenny, you ready? Oh, yes.
I am ready. You are ready. You are ready. Everybody here is ready.
Oh, please.
Foot on brake. Foot on the brake, and you're gonna press and hold the button, and we're gonna see what happens.
And then turn it off after 30 seconds, right?
And after 30 seconds, you turn it off.
30 seconds.
3, 2, 1. Are you? What?
Stab the brake. There we go.
It's a little loud. That fan is angry. Whoa! Hell yeah! Wow. There you go. Our first tool! Yo! Yes! Yo! Oh my God! That was a little spooky with the fan. Right? But otherwise, it's all good. Totally fine.
Yeah, let's put 2 quarts of oil.
Yeah, more oil.
More oil, and then we get it up to temperature.
Started.
And then, wow. Oh, that feels good.
What we got to do is, if we can get it running again, let it thermal cycle, get it up to temp, and then we'll let it cool down again.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, step.
There we go.
That sounds right. That sounds That sounds correct. That sounds right. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Here's sport mode.
Oh yeah!
I have to be honest with myself. I may have overestimated the scope of the build. What started as a 7-day sprint turned into a 5-month wrenching marathon that tested me in ways I didn't know existed. I went back and forth to Denver 6 times for this build. I shipped countless parts from my shop, I pulled all-nighters, and struggled with the idea that building a P1 at home was just impossible. But during all of that, I was never alone. I was there with the only guys in the world who wanted this just as much as I did, through the tiny problems and major setbacks. We were brothers in arms, bonded for life through a shared experience that showed us, and hopefully everyone watching, that nothing is impossible if you have a great team that isn't afraid to get their hands dirty and learn from their mistakes. That truly made firing up this iconic hypercar built with our bare hands the biggest win I could ever imagine. I can honestly say there's no group of people that I would rather share tools with, and I'm incredibly thankful that I got to be a part of this once-in-a-lifetime build. And the fact that I was there to see Steve realize his lifelong dream of building this homemade P1 with his son, that made me feel incredibly fortunate and excited that I have kids to share my love of cars with, and to also show them that you can accomplish anything you want in life if you work really hard and have the right people supporting you. Now, I wanted to make sure that Steve, Kenny, Andrew, and all of the members of the Car Council get as much credit as they deserve, so be sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel where they're posting the full video of the P1's first drive. But here's a little bit of what they have in store.
Hi everyone, it is time. We've got the car on 4 wheels. We've got it off the lift. We're putting it in ignition 2. We've fired up the car. And we're about to let baby take her first steps.
Let's see what happens over here. So we're gonna try doing reverse first.
Guys, it moves. It's a working car. All right, internal combustion, reverse. Now, try first. Yep. Let's go.
And that brings me to right here with my McLaren P1 build. Now, because we built a bone stock McLaren P1, which was something that everybody thought was impossible, including McLaren themselves, it just showed me that even if you have one of the most iconic hypercars on the planet, you can still build it better. And that is exactly what I'm gonna do with this, because the next time you see this car on this channel, it's gonna go from a bare shell to a running, driving car. Thanks for watching.